Tom. Very
Hey.
nice to see you today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to meet with me.
No problem.
I appreciate it. When we met for our pre-conference, we talked about setting some goals for clarity in the lesson, making a nice clear objective, and making sure that the directions are clear during your lab.
Yes.
So can you tell me what the objective of your lesson and what class?
We were in a forensic science class, and we had we did an owl pellet dissection where each kids worked in groups, 2s or 3s, and they were given their lab equipment, and they were able to dissect an owl pellet and figure out what the bones, separate all the bones from the fur, and then reconstruct the skeleton that was there, and then identify the animal that the owl had eaten.
Oh, cool. And what was the animal in the end?
And each one is different, depending on what the owl is eating. We have mice, rats, voles, moles, and sometimes another bird. So,
did any of them predict it, or?
Yeah, so the prediction part, the students would have to, once they see the skeleton, they would have to try to predict it before. Once they first see the skeleton, then they put it together, and they have to see if their prediction was correct.
Oh, okay. So how many of them do you think were right?
We had about 80% of them, if I had to put a percentage to it.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Kind of guessed it right with because they had some charts to look at.
Oh, so they had some skeletons to compare it to.
Correct, yes.
All right, and how did you assess that they met the objective? Was there a lab report for them, or?
Yeah, so there's questions at the end. They have to, their skeleton that they make, they have to glue it to paper, to cardboard, and then they have to hand that in, along with a series of questions that went along with the lab.
Okay, and what would you say the makeup of that class is like?
It was a mixed class. There's, I'm in there with it. It's an included classroom. I'm in there with another teacher. I think we have 20 students, and 8 of them are special ed or special needs or 504 plan.
Okay, and how did you mix the groups up for them? Were they?
Well, so we have each lab. We have they basically pick out of a hat. They pick their numbers out of a hat, and those numbers or letters, depending on what we want to do for that week. So if you pick the number 1, and there's 2 number 1s in the hat. So whoever picks the second number 1 is now your lab partner.
Okay, so they get to work with different people on
Correct.
different labs. Okay, that's good for them. So can you explain how you set up the lesson for them? How did you frame the lesson?
Well, I started off with a do now, and I asked them, how would you be able to identify what an owl ate for lunch yesterday? And so they had to figure out how they could do it, and they talked amongst themselves for 2 or 3 minutes as their do now. And then we discussed it, and then from there I led them to a picture on the board from the projector of an owl and the process that the digestive tract goes, and how they spit back up their ball of bones or their pellet.
Oh, that's definitely cool. No, that was a good do now. I liked the way you had that set up. It really got them thinking about what they were about to do.
Thank you.